You're still alive. There you are. You're still alive. How you doing? Good morning. It's good afternoon, really, isn't it? And it's just after midday here in the UK on an absolutely glorious spring day so far. I'm a bit croaky now, and I'm a bit croaky so you'll forgive me. You'll forgive me. Treatment for it. In fact, I'm having blood tests fairly regularly. They're saying that it's unlike any lung infection they've seen, and in its stubbornness and the problem it's caused me with breathing and all of that. I've never been one to lie under things. Never been a hypochondriac. As my late grandmother used to say, she couldn't pronounce fuck all. You're a hypochondriac, she used to say. Not to me, but to hypochondriacs. But it laid me low, and I've not been great. But I'm better, and I'm semi-back. I'll tell you now, the radio show's coming back next Monday. And it'll carry on as normal. Between now and Monday, I'll get it back up, don't panic, alright? It'll fuck it up in the rerun later, but I'll get it up, and I'll get it up and running. The future Mrs. Allen has been amazing. In her tolerance and patience. Very difficult times when somebody is really sick in a house and you've got a young dog in the house running around and needs to be walked and all the rest of it, and she's been incredible. I want to also give a big shout out. He might be watching this, but he might have better things to do, to Mark Bajerski, who's been a great friend of mine and a great friend of the radio programmes for a number of years. A couple of things. Mark raised some money for me, knowing that I'd be out for a few weeks. A significant amount of money, it must be said, through his YouTube channel and his Facebook page. And I thank him from the bottom of my heart for doing that. One of the most selfless people I've ever had the pleasure to meet in all the years I've worked in the media. And he even went as far, did Mark, as arranging for me to see somebody, a healer, a friend of his, who's a specialist. I haven't managed to arrange that yet because I'm going to see through. I'm going to let this kind of current course of treatment see its course. But he put me in touch with a really lovely man, all arranged by Mark. And again, I can't say enough about Mark Bajerski. And if you've never heard of him before, and Mark is very well known, but on the off chance you haven't heard of him, do check him out at markbajerski.com. He's a great guy, benevolent, full of love and decency and community. He was a big help to the Trigger Warning Boys recently during their fundraising drive as well. He's just a great guy, asks for nothing in return, is looking for no attention, is just a great human being. Whatever you might think of healers and homeopathy and alternative healing, you might take a dim view of it. I don't. I take a very positive view of it. But whether you do or whether you don't, the guy's an absolute angel. He's a star. And he's a man amongst men. And I don't forget my friends, as my friends will tell you. So thanks to him. Some people cancelled recurring contributions and then apologise for doing it. You morons. I told you to do that. I don't expect out for an out. If I'm not making radio programmes, I don't expect you to contribute. I mentioned that when I was sick a few weeks ago, so don't be apologetic about that. When the radio show's back up and running again next week, if you feel like making a contribution, do. It'll never be compulsory. It'll never be behind a paywall. But don't apologise for stopping. Jesus. I wasn't on. Right. Okay. So there you are. So no need to apologise. Thanks for contributing in the first place for so long. My God. Yeah, so there you go. So thanks to everybody who's ever made a contribution to it. I've made a few notes here. I've not written anything down, just a couple of bullet points, so that I wouldn't lose my place. And I only decided to do this morning at about 6:30, to be honest. I was in the park with the dogs, walking around. Glorious sunshine this morning. And I said, right, sure, I might as well go on YouTube for a bit. Sure, I might as well be Jesus. Now, look, I know that lots of you are leaving comments there. I won't read so many of them out today, if you're okay with that, because I'll just get sidetracked. I'll do another one of these either. It'll be Wednesday morning probably. And if you want on Wednesday morning, I'll read the comments out. And if you've got a few questions. Now, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a virologist. I'm not a biologist. I'm not a scientist. So you can't be asking me questions about these things. Because I'm not qualified to answer them. I know you might say, well, sure, Jesus, Richie. Some of these people making these statements on TV, their credentials are a bit dubious too. Yes. Yeah, but I'm not going to tell you what is going down or what isn't going down. I've never done that. I'm a reasonably intelligent man and I'm a vastly experienced presenter and producer. So I've seen plenty of things happen over the years. So what I can do is I can theorize, and maybe while theorizing, maybe we might realize that there are one or two areas of discomfort. There are some things going on that are, well, they're making me very uncomfortable. We'll talk a little bit about those now. Have a look at that movie poster there, Contagion. I'll talk about that in a few minutes. It just occurred to me, listen, this isn't groundbreaking stuff. You've heard about predictive programming in the past, haven't you? If you've listened to my show, you have anyway, because we've had men and women on from the world of film and theatre in the past talking about it. So yeah. I suppose when you see people queuing outside Tesco, which is a major UK supermarket chain, as I did yesterday morning when I drove my battered Renault Megane estate. A fuck of a car. If ever there was a fuck of a car, my Renault Megane estate 2013 model is a fuck of a car. Hardly befitting of a broadcast genius. But it gets me from A to B. And as I've said before, 70 miles to the gallon. Diesel. Fuck you, Greta. Diesel. And diesel it shall remain. I drove over because we needed stuff. Because we've not been getting out. We didn't need reams and reams of fucking toilet roll. We needed a few basic fundamentals. A few bits and pieces. A few packets of vegetables. One or two bits and pieces. And I hadn't been out for a week in terms of shopping out. And you couldn't get in there because the queue was stretching all around Salford Precinct right down to the fucking Heart Foundation shop. And there was security there telling people when they could go in and when they couldn't go in. Madness. And it's tempting to be very smug when you see that going on. It's tempting to be smug and to get on your high horse and to be condescending and to use vitriolic adjectives to describe these people, to call them sheep and to laugh at them. It's tempting to do that. We've done it in the past. We've done it in the past. Laughed at people, mocked them. Look at that shower of fucking sheep. It's very tempting to do that, right? Right. I don't do it though. Why? Why? Because you're a saint, are you, Richie? Are you an angel? No, I'm not. But I've had the benefit of watching this unfold around the fucking clock while I've been lying on the sofa for the last few weeks. And I don't blame what you might call the sheeple for their reaction to what's been happening. I don't blame them one fucking minute. Not for a second do I blame them. It's not their fault. How could you blame them? Have you been watching the television news programmes? Have you been listening to the radio programmes? Have you seen the carry-on of the mainstream media in this country? Have you watched Sky News and with the graphics and the ominous fucking music and the presenters repeating over and over again, including Ken Bruce on BBC Radio 2 this morning, because I had to go out this morning. I couldn't get the fucking vegetables and the leeks and the asparagus yesterday, so I had to go and try and find it this morning. I did find it this morning. Thank fuck. I came out with an armful of asparagus and leeks and tomatoes and fucking mushrooms. And on the way back, I was listening to Ken Bruce. And a couple of times Bruce repeated during his radio programme this morning. And if you don't believe me, you can listen back to it on demand. BBC iPlayer, Ken Bruce, Radio 2. He said over and over again. And they're all at it. We have to accept that our way of life has to change. over and over and over and over again. That we have to accept we can't be selfish. We must stay inside. Over and over and over again. It's relentless. Marry that. Your favourite presenters, your favourite fucking celebrities. Telling you. Over and over and over again. It's relentless to the point that it's become hypnotic. Don't blame people. It's not fair to blame them. They're terrified. Met two lads. A gay couple. I like it when I meet gay couples because I don't meet too many of them. In Buell Hill Park in Salford 3 or 4 days ago. Nobody knows who the fuck I am. Why would they? I'm not famous. I'm not even infamous. I ask people questions. I'm a talker. I'm a big fucking mouth when I'm out and about in the park. I can't not stop and talk to people. Comes to my grandfather. Hello, hello, hello. Told you before, I used to think the man knew fucking everybody in Ireland. I thought he was the most famous man in the country. Hello, 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 hello. Mrs. Nugent, hello, hello. Mr. Power, hello, hello. That's rubbed off on me. I stop people now and I say, listen, what do you think of all this? And they're terrified. They're saying, we're not going far enough, mate. I'm like, what? I don't get into an argument. It's not about my opinion. Fuck my opinion. I want to hear other people's opinions. Not going far enough. Should be curfews. One guy, the gay couple, one half of the gay couple. I say it again, the gay couple. Lovely guys. One half of the couple works for Salford Council. He said, we're not going far enough. What do you mean? This is a few days ago. Nobody should be allowed to leave home. Terrified. Fucking terrified. And I'm thinking, well, you're in a public park with your dogs. If you feel that strongly about it, maybe you should stay at home yourself. It's relentless. It's fucking hypnotic. Every single presenter, every single fucking celebrity. Open dailymail.co.uk now. Do it now. Look at the stories. Every fucking one of them. bbc.co.uk/news. Every fucking one of them. In Italy. They're all dying. They're dying here. They're dying there. They're dying everywhere. Why aren't we doing the same? Not dying. Why aren't we all staying indoors? In France. In that part of France, in the region of Alsace, where the oft-mentioned future Mrs. Allen hails from. They're flying fucking drones over the urbanizations. And the drones have got communication features. And voices emanate from the drones telling people not to leave their fucking houses or there will be consequences. People are terrified. Don't be smug. Don't sit there. I know everything. I read some David Icke. I'm better. I know stuff. No, don't be like that. Don't be like that. It's fucking relentless. People are shitting themselves. We're surrounded by small families. It's one of the beautiful things about living in Salford. We're an old couple in Salford. I'm 45. Our indoors is, 41 I think now. Fucking hell. I know what date it is, but I don't know what age she is. May 23rd, 1978. Do the fucking maths. I can't. I'm too sick still. Well, where am I going with this? Yeah, youngsters shitting themselves. So we're on very good terms with two couples who've got young children. Primary school age children. They're terrified. And one of the dads, I won't mention his name, he said to me, and Richie, and of course he knows what it is that I do. He said, and Richie, we're just getting them off to sleep after the climate change fucking nightmares. Yeah. Yeah. We just gotten them over the fucking Greta nightmares. The planet's going to be in flames in fucking 10 years. Now they're terrified of getting the virus. Which they might have already had. Because the body, you see, is being attacked by thousands of fucking viruses year round. But the body fights most of them off. You carry a lot of viruses around with you don't even realise you fucking have. Fact, by the way, I did say earlier on, the caveat was, the disclaimer was, I'm not a man of science. I'm not a man of medicine. No, I'm not. But I am a man of journalism. And I do have the capacity, the wherewithal to listen to other men and women of science and listen to them. Mass fucking panic. The predictive programming thing is interesting. That was a massive film, wasn't it? Contagion. We've had people on talking about this on the radio show. This was another not so massive film, but it's one of the most watched films on Netflix today. This fucking thing here. Hey? Military vehicles. And don't forget that all-time fucking classic Outbreak. Have those films, and there's been many more of them. Worst fucking live stream in fucking memory. I apologise for the shit graphics. So we've seen these, and there are many more of them I could have used. One's about zombie viruses, of course, and one's just about viruses. Conditioning people. Maybe not conditioning people to be terrified of viruses, but maybe conditioning people through film and through fictional books and magazines and short stories that there might come a time in the future when it's necessary for the military to control your environment to ensure your safety. This is very important now, by the way. Sorry again now for not reading out your comments. I know there are lots of comments there. Good morning, good afternoon, by the way. Thanks for watching this shite. Right. Let me go back to, like I said, I made a couple of bullet points. Mass panic, right? Now today might be a red letter day in human history. In the history of the UK. Might be. It's March 23rd. And the Westminster will see a debate today concerning a debate around drastic new legislation and powers to be held by the government, possibly used to help contain the spread of this deadly virus, which I don't think is so deadly. We'll come back to that in a minute. So it might be a red letter day in Area 3. We might be witnessing kind of our Patriot Act rushed through Parliament. It's known as the Emergency COVID-19 Bill. COVID-19 Bill. The Emergency COVID-19 Bill. The Labour Party has indicated that it will go along with the government and won't debate it or challenge it in any real sense, and will in fact nod it through. Meaning what? Meaning that they won't vote on it. They'll just say, yeah, good, and send it to the House of Lords. Maybe with a couple of amendments, maybe along the lines of it should be reviewed every 6 months to see if it's still necessary. Ask anybody who ever came from parts of the world where despotic rulers were 10 a fucking penny. Ask them what happens when you give away freedom on a massive scale, and you believe the despotic rulers when they say we only want it for a little while. See how that works out for you. Right? So this is everywhere today. Everywhere. I've got lots of Daily Mail screenshots for you. Daily Mail. Afternoon, by the way. How you doing? It is the BBG, not the BBC. My name is Richie Allen. This is YouTube. This is live. Right now, anyway. From Salford in Greater Manchester. I'm feeling a fucking damn sight better than I was a couple of weeks ago. Thanks for caring about the show. I really mean that. I am a curmudgeonly, nasty, cantankerous, contrary, big bally gammon bollocks. But I have a heart. And I appreciate it. I really do. It means a lot to me. Okay. All right. So, what's interesting has been the changing of the UK government's attitude to this virus that is apparently so deadly that it might kill 250,000 people in the UK. No fucking chance, by the way. No chance. I'll explain why in a few minutes' time. And I'm no man of science or medicine. Just a journalist. A real one. Not a fake ones in the indie media and the truth or industrial complex. Just because I set myself up a YouTube channel and because I talk fucking bollocks, I'm a journalist. See Tommy Robinson, I'm a journalist. No, you're not. You're not a fucking journalist. I earned my fucking stripes. I jealously guard the term journalist. Do I know any, actually? No, I don't. Right. The fick. So, apparently, outrage is being expressed on the nation's airwaves this morning that people had the temerity to go to their local parks over the weekend and go to beaches. And that has led to... Well, it hasn't led to the COVID 19 bill that I was just talking about. And that was in the pipeline for a couple of weeks or more, at least a couple of weeks anyway. But the stories emerging of people congregating, gathering, having fun, just going about life as normal, have been weaponised this morning ahead of the so-called debate today. And all the papers are going with this morning. We must take more powers. We must be harsher in how we go about trying to defeat this virus, and lockdown is a real possibility. This is everywhere today. Okay? Alongside this are terrifying stories. This particular story, I'm getting it from the Daily Mail, but it's been in a lot of newspapers this morning. So it's a story about Italy doing the rounds of the UK media purely to scare people in this country. Right? A story about how in Italy there aren't respirators anymore for people over 60. Fuck you if you're over 60. So we're an ageing population here. Good sanitary conditions. A decent health service. For the most part. And we live a lot longer than we used to do. So there are a lot of older people in this country. Thank God. God bless them. And they're terrified by this. So this is how they get the acquiescence. This is how they get people to go along with the power grab that you're going to see this afternoon. Terrorise them. By over in Italy, over in Spain. Spain's getting a lot of mentions this morning as well. Alright? Sky News this morning, just after 11. UK lockdown could come very soon as emergency laws rushed in. And as I said, again, it's important to reiterate the Labour Party is not really going to challenge any of this. That mumblety fuck, that bearded dickhead, catweasel Jeremy Corbyn gave an interview yesterday morning to Sophie Ridge and mumbled his fucking way through it. Not remotely concerned about what Johnson's government is planning to do today. Not interested. It's for our good, you see. It's for our good. We need to be told we can't leave the fucking house. We need to be told we need to apply for a pass to leave the fucking house. We need to be told that if we don't go along with that, we could be arrested. We need that for our safety. Right? Fucking Jeremy Corbyn, huh? What big baldy gammon bollocks 3.5 years ago said that Jeremy Corbyn would amount to fucking squat? Ah, me! That's right, I did. Even when people like David Icke fucking hell, were saying, oh, Corbyn must have something to say, otherwise they wouldn't be going after him. Fuck off. I told you! Labour is going to nod it through, so what's going on? Alright. I'm all over the place, right? But give me a break. Peter Hitchens. Marmite. there's so much that I've read Peter Hitchens over the years, so many times, and I've read him and I've gone, for fuck's sake, Peter. As he's a very conservative man, and I'm not, of course. And I would disagree with Peter, but I always read him. I read people who, first of all, people who've got the ability to write. But secondly, people who are honest in their writing. You know, they're not presenting some fucking agenda on behalf of a third party. They're speaking from fucking there, from in there. They're saying what it is they believe, and I love that. Yeah, I fucking disagree with you. Of course I do, you madman. But you believe it, and I love that. But on a couple of very serious issues recently, Peter Hitchens has gotten it square on. He's hit the fucking target. Right? Of course, on the chemical weapons fucking hoax in Syria, Hitchens should get the Pulitzer Prize. Yes, he should. Excuse me. Are we still on? Are we? Are we on? Are we on? The camera on? Is the camera on? Is it? Do camera on. This is a video now for Hayden Hewitt now. Not any of the other Hewitts now, just Hayden Hewitt. I'll fight you anytime, anywhere, anytime. This is not going out to Graham now, just to you, Hayden. I'll fight you. Right, so Peter Hitchens wrote, he's destroyed this whole chemical weapons fucking attack by Assad in Aleppo, which never happened. That's responsible. Brilliant journalism. And he wrote a couple of pieces in the last couple of weeks about the coronavirus, COVID-19. And I'm going to read you a little bit of Peter's article. I'm going to read you a little bit. Before I do that, though, let's play a game of Jeopardy. Let's play Jeopardy. Do 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 do. Answer is the worst live stream in fucking history. Question? Right. Where's Hitchens' article? What have I fucking done with it? I've not uploaded it. Ah! I've not put it on there, so I've not got it. Have I? Hang on. Let's see. No. I haven't got it. There's Peter anyway. Look at him. You think I'm curmudgeonly? Look at him. With his curmudgeonly feckin' head in him. Look at him, he even looks like an ignorant bastard, doesn't he? But he's an ignorant bastard who's right. Lately. Quite a bit. I wonder is he having some sort of fucking midlife or later life crisis of conscience, Peter Hitchens? I don't know. Ah, there you are. I've not got the article to show you, but you'll trust me when I read some of it. Hi to Liz McFall and hi to Charles Pixley. Thanks so much for the super chat contribution today. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Lovely. Let me read you from some of Peter Hitchens' article. Very important. Listen now. I'd love to have the capability to scroll this on a screen for you, but I don't, so just listen. He writes, yesterday in the Mail on Sunday, the Department of Health and Social Care tells me, Peter Hitchens, that the number of flu cases and deaths due to flu-related complications in England alone, averages 17,000 a year. This varies greatly each winter, ranging from 1,692 deaths last season to, incredibly, 28,330 deaths in 2014 to 2015. The Department of Health and Social Care notes that many of those who die from these diseases, fucking viruses, have underlying health conditions, as do almost all the victims of coronavirus so far. Number one. Lock that one in there. Almost all of those who die have underlying health conditions, as do almost all the victims of COVID-19 so far. Here and elsewhere, writes Peter Hitchens. As the experienced and knowledgeable doctor who writes under the pseudonym MD in the left-wing magazine Private Eye, wrote at the start of the panic, in the winter of 2017-2018, more than 50,000 excess deaths occurred in England and Wales, largely unnoticed. Nor is it just respiratory diseases that carry people off too soon. In the government's table of deaths considered avoidable, it lists 31,307 deaths from cardiovascular diseases in England and Wales for 2013. The last year for which they could give me figures. This, largely the toll of unhealthy lifestyles, was out of a total of 114,740 avoidable deaths in that year. To put all of these figures in perspective, writes Hitchens, please note that every human being in the United Kingdom suffers from a fatal condition: being alive. So those facts then, about nearly 30,000 people dying of the flu in the winter of 2014-2015, and tens of thousands of people with cardiovascular problems and other chronic health problems who were tipped over the fucking edge by the flu. These are facts, not conjecture, not somebody's opinion. These are facts. And facts are very important. Facts have never been under attack so much as they are these days in the era of identity politics, but they've never been more important than when we talk about this coronavirus epidemic. We're coming out of the fucking winter. I am lucky enough that there are three, one, two, three, count them, 3, 2, 1, doctors, real doctors, according to the system, real doctors, qualified GPs, who have either retired or lost their licence to practice. I'm not talking about Andrew Wakefield, by the way. Who I've been speaking to during my own illness. They said, Richie, it's an amazing thing, Richie, they said, all of them. We're emerging from the winter, Richie. We're emerging from it. The winter's a shit time, Richie. For people. More so in the 21st century than ever before, said the doctors. And I said, doctors, why? Tell me. Because, Richie, because of the way we work, because of our diets, we emerge from the winter months without sunlight. Vital thing for us to be exposed to, sunlight. Months without sun. We're run down. We've been going to very unhealthy environments to earn our living. Leaving when it's fucking dark, coming home when it's dark. Stressed to fuck. No sunlight. Unhealthy working conditions. Closed in spaces with little ventilation, fluorescent fucking lighting. These are doctors. And they'll be on the show to talk about it next week. So, our immune systems, Richie, are fucking on the edge. This is why traditionally in February and in March, we see people suffering from viruses. 'Twas ever thus. People going around, fucked, crawling around, because the virus has laid them low. Factor that in. And the BBC, for once over the weekend, published an article. I don't have it to hand, sadly. And in the article on their website, they, to be fair to the BBC, they said, how do we know that when we're told that somebody died of coronavirus, how do we fucking know that they died from the virus? The answer is we don't know. Nobody fucking knows. Particularly as Hitchens' assertion in his brilliant article yesterday, that most people who succumb to viral illnesses in the fucking winter have been dealing with chronic underlying problems. Right? So how do we know the people who have succumbed thus far to coronavirus, 220 in the UK apparently, 240 have died from the coronavirus out of 65 million. How do we know that they weren't teetering on the fucking brink anyhow? You see them everywhere. And I'm not sizist. I'm not ageist. I'm not Peter Hitchens. I don't look down on people. I see people grotesquely fucking overweight out and about in Salford. Grotesquely. God love them. It doesn't make them any less of a human being. I'm not repelled by their size. Far fucking from it. I don't care. But they're not fucking healthy. Often wheezing. Fucking wheezing, right? So, maybe a particularly nasty strain of a virus coming from wherever the fuck might do for them. So Peter Hitchens writes on, let me read. He writes on, we are warned of supposedly devastating death rates. But at least one expert, John, I can't pronounce the guy's surname. At least one expert, John Ioannidis, I think it is, I'm going to say John Ioannidis. John is professor of medicine, of epidemiology and population health, of biomedical data science and statistics at Stanford University in California. John Ioannidis. Now, John is one of many qualified men, at least qualified by the systems measurement. He's one of many whom haven't been invited to speak on your local or your favourite television or radio news programme. Why? That fucking Egypt Galloway on RT, to his credit, a couple of weeks back, Galloway had a guy on, a virologist, qualified according to the system. He said it's a load of bollocks. But it was only RT that would give him a fucking audience. Ask yourself why are so many academic men and women who think this is fucking crazy? Why are they exempt from an appearance with the ginger ninja? The ginger ninja. Kay Burley on Sky News. Why? This guy, Stanford, medicine, epidemiology, population health, says the data is utterly unreliable because so many cases are going unrecorded. I'm reading again from Hitchens. He warns, does Professor Ioannidis, this evidence fiasco creates tremendous uncertainty about the risk of dying from COVID-19. Reported case fatality rates, like the official 3.4% rate from the World Health Organization, cause horror and are meaningless. Why does he say they are meaningless? Well, he explains to Peter Hitchens. He says in only one place, and that was aboard the cruise ship the Diamond Princess, has an entire closed community been available for study. And the death rate there, just 1%, is distorted because so many of those on the ship were elderly. The real rate adjusted for a wide age range might be as low as 0.05%. Not half of 1%, no, lower than that, 0.05%. Dr. John Ioannidis, Stanford, qualified up the fucking wazoo, according to the system, but not to be heard on British television or radio. God, no. No. We can't let a good crisis go to waste, man. Don't let these fucking doctors on and say this is fucking crazy. What are you doing, locking down society? What are you closing parks for, you fucking... That's crazy. Don't let those doctors on the air. If one of them tries to get on the air, fucking shoot them. People are terrified. Let's keep them that way. Right? Hitchens goes on to say, it's the last excerpt from Hitchens' article now. That huge range, as Professor Ioannidis says, that huge range markedly affects how severe the pandemic is and what should be done. A population-wide case fatality rate of 0.05% is lower than seasonal flu. If that is the true rate, locking down the world with potentially tremendous social and financial consequences, we'll come to fucking that in a minute, may be totally irrational. It's like an elephant being attacked by a house cat. Frustrated and trying to avoid the cat, the elephant accidentally jumps off a cliff and dies. We will come right back to the financial implications in a minute. How you doing, by the way? You alright there, yeah? Are you still alive? I got dressed up for you this morning. This afternoon. I cut my hair. I'm pretty pleased with the outcome. Baldy bastard. No, we've got more from Hitchens. The former editor of the Times newspaper, Simon Jenkins, recently listed these unfulfilled scares. Gotta have a good memory, you see. And I have a very good memory. Most broadcast journalists who've been around and had some success, moderate or not so moderate, we've got good memories. We will remember the things we report on. By the way, check out John Rappaport, nomorefakenews.com. Check out the Trends Journal, Gerald Salente. Great work there. So the former editor of the Times, Sir Simon Jenkins, recently listed these unfulfilled scares. Remember, they said we were all going to die. Well, they didn't, but they said lots of people are going to die. And they didn't. Bird flu did not kill the predicted millions in 1997. In 1999, it was mad cow disease and its human variant, VCJD, which was predicted to kill 500,000. Fewer than 200 died in the UK. The first SARS outbreak back in 2003, I remember it well, writes Hitchens, was reported as having a 25% chance of killing tens of millions and being worse than AIDS. In 2006, another bout of bird flu was declared the first pandemic of the 21st century, but it didn't kill anybody. Similar warnings in 2009. Swine flu could kill 65,000. It did not. This is Jenkins now in the Times, being quoted by Peter Hitchens. And this is very important. And I looked it up. Everything Hitchens claimed in that article yesterday, I spent the best part of 4 hours yesterday cross-referencing every fucking claim made by Hitchens. Because I'm a real journalist. We don't look for things online that we can use to support our own theses. That's lazy. Oh, Hitchens says that, it's a load of bollocks, so I'll just use that. No. I've cross-referenced it all, it's all true. This is important. The Council of Europe, I know, described the hyping of the pandemic in 2009 as one of the great medical scandals of the century. Totally true. Right? And Hitchens poses a question. I'm not going to read any more from the article. He poses a question. Indeed, he posed a question yesterday in his article. In fact, he didn't so much pose a question as make a statement. And his statement was along the lines of that it's kind of remarkable the evolution of the UK government's response to this so-called virus epidemic, this so-called disease. And isn't it fascinating, dear viewer, how in the last week or so, UK media collectively, at the same time, stopped calling it a virus and started referring to it as a disease. Why? I fucking know why. Right? A disease has connotations, has overtones, that virus doesn't. Disease is a dangerous word. It's a darker word. So they've always started saying disease. Like the fucking disease. We start thinking black plague and stuff. That's how they operate the media, you see. I said some years ago it seemed to have an impact back then. The BBC, the UK media represent a clear and present danger to the health and security of you and your family. They are the enemy. They are your enemy. Of course they are. So the evolution of the government response. It began very sensibly. It was moderate and you could say, was proportional back at the beginning. Schools should stay open. Life should carry on. But be alert, be a bit savvy. Keep an eye on people that have got asthma, respiratory issues, maybe chronic illness, and certainly on the very, 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 very old. If I was in my 70s now, I would be apoplectic at the characterisation of me now as a septuagenarian. Because if you believe the government now, people in their 70s are frail, useless, barely fucking standing citizens that need to be protected from fucking somebody sneezing in their general fucking direction. I know a lot of septuagenarians. I know a lot through the Richie Allen radio show. They're not infirm. They're not invalided. They're not invalids. They're healthy as fuck. Yeah, they don't want the fucking flu. Of course they don't. Who fucking needs it, right? It's not going to kill them. But there are people, of course, who, we mentioned them earlier on, people with the respiratory fucking problems I've had to put up with for the last few years. I don't know if virus is going to kill me. I'm as fit as fuck. My lung capacity is great. I never smoked in my life. Not even a puff. Not even a try. Not even on curiosity. I've kept fit. Run. Stamina. My lungs are all right despite the asthma and the chronic, almost fucking biannual fucking infections I get. So the response was proportional. Keep the schools open. Stay alert. Keep an eye on those with those underlying conditions. Now it's lockdown. Who's he been listening to? Who has persuaded Boris Johnson? Because Boris Johnson couldn't run from here down to the fucking corner shop, let alone run a country. Johnson doesn't run squat. Neither does that fucking goon in the White House. Or that goon in France. The Rothschild banker that now runs France, but he's not running France at all, of course. The front men. Who have they been listening to? Having, of their own volition at the very beginning, done the right thing and said, right, this might be a bit nasty, this, so we got to be a bit careful. But, you know, carry on. Keep calm and carry on, but just be aware. Who persuaded them to shut down commerce in this country? Who persuaded the government to put millions and millions of people out of their fucking jobs? Who? Who? And by doing so, ruining businesses and wiping billions and billions of fucking pounds off the value of companies, but also off the value of pension funds. Who said that was a good idea? Because I look around the truther industrial complex and the so-called independent media, the alternative media, which is no more alternative now than fucking Cliff Richard. No more alternative than the monkeys. A lot of mainstream light out there pretending to be alternative. There's nothing alternative about it. Nobody's talking about the markets. The massive hit on people's livelihoods. The problems people are going to face in the coming months and years because of the decisions made, allegedly, by Rishi Sunak. recently appointed Chancellor of the Exchequer, and that fucking retarded, blonde, fucking bimbo, fucking headed Boris Johnson, who for shits and giggles sets fire to £50 notes in front of homeless people. Maybe not anymore, but he used to do it. Let's close down business, industry, shut it fucking down. Nobody has any idea what the implications of that will be, but I do. I do. And you're going to see the implications of this more and more at the end of the year. As we get into autumn, late 2020, the spring, the summer of 2021, then you're going to see the impact that these decisions have had on people. And the result of it, wiping out the markets, destroying livelihoods, wrecking companies, the result will make the manufactured crash of 2008 look like a fucking blip. A blip. Looked like a fucking walk in the park, that 2008 compared to what's coming. Richie Sunak. Who the fuck is Richie Sunak? The answer is I don't know. But this is almost... It's beyond gaslighting, this. They did experiments at universities over the years. Many universities did experiments in trying to make people fucking mad. Trying to make people mad. How do you drive people mad? Giving them information, then giving them conflicting information, then giving them other information, then giving them conflicting information. Getting them running around like a fucking hamster. Drive them mad. And this is Machiavellian. This is pure fucking evil shit, this. I'll tell you what, lads, you've got to close your fucking doors. Don't sell any more beer. Don't sell any more clothes. Don't sell any more meals. Don't manufacture any more products. Shut your fucking doors and close down. Thus, driving you to the brink of financial ruin. But fear not, because me and that fucking twat to the right of me, Boris Johnson, we, the architects of your fucking misery, we will swoop in with £350 billion. Which is nowhere near the amount of money needed to compensate the businesses and the employees whose lives you have fucked right up. That's gaslighting in the extreme. We have made decisions based on no sound scientific evidence that are going to cause millions and millions and millions of people to be plunged into poverty. People with mortgages. People with loans that they're trying to satisfy anyway. Now they're fucked. So we'll come in. What they're doing, it's hilarious, is what the European Union did to Greece, to Spain, to Portugal and to Italy. It's hilarious. We'll make decisions to bankrupt your fucking economy, and then we'll come in with loads of money that we'll just imagine out of thin air and give it to you, but not for free. No, it'll have to be paid back with interest. And when you can't pay it back because your businesses are fucking ruined, well, the public will have to pay it back. And then the austerity inflicted upon this country by the Conservative government for the last 10 years will again look like a walk in the fucking park. It'll look like a cakewalk when they come to us next year and in 2022 to say we are fucking broke. And they'll say it's not our fault. It's nobody's fault. It's nobody's fault, they will say. The virus, it's the virus, that nasty virus. You can't bring a virus to The Hague. You can't take a virus to court for ruining your fucking livelihood. So they'll say it's not our fault, but the banks have to be paid back. Let's go round again. Yeah, let's go round and round again. Do you see what's happening? Be like a fucking walk in the park, the austerity that's coming down the line. It is purely, manifestly fucking evil. A virus that can be dangerous, like any other virus, to frail people. I'm not even going to say elderly, because that's bullshit. To frail people and to people who've got the respiratory illnesses or grotesquely overweight or cardiovascular issues brought on because of a poor lifestyle or whatever. We're going to use that as an excuse to bankrupt the fucking economy, to put millions and millions of people into poverty. And then, when we bring in the rescue package, well, that will have to be paid for. And as per fucking usual, that will be paid for through austerity, through grabbing real assets from people. Land, houses. That's what they do. They're doing it now. They've been doing it since forever. And today, lest, even though they've terrified people to the point that people can't. It's not that they won't, they can't. That's why I said don't be smug, don't mock them, don't laugh at them, don't be superior. You're not superior to them. Neither am I, or anybody. No, none of us are superior to any of the rest of us. We're all fucking people trying to get through this fucking lunatic asylum that is life. They're going to pass this bill now. COVID Emergency Powers Bill. Not just to be on the safe side, because they know they've got people where they want them. This police state they want to bring in. But this was always the plan. I mean, if you've listened to the aforementioned David Icke, who's written brilliantly for many years on these subjects, but whom sadly most people don't pay attention to because he said the Queen is a lizard. Something he's been battling with in terms of getting attention for people. Most of his adult life. But others like Jim Marrs, other writers, John Rappaport, I could be here all day naming them. They've been talking about this for years. The desire to bring in a dystopian reality where every fucking move you make is licensed by Big Brother, the overarching state, the apparatus, the government, the authorities of the government, the pillars, the police. Everything you fucking do has to be licensed by a body. Not just for your protection, but for everybody else's. And it won't just be fucking viruses either. It'll be climate change. It'll be terrorism. Passes to go out on the streets, they're going to recommend today. Passes to go out on the streets. Showing ID to leave your house. Closing shops, non-essential ones. Police on patrol for anyone found in a group. In fact, they're saying groups more than 2 to be arrested. Closing the parks. Dog walkers of the world, unite and take over. What the fuck are we going to do? There's no opposition to it. The mainstream light so-called alternative media. I've been watching them on Twitter, criticising people for going to concerts, calling people selfish for going outside. Wow. Lockdown. Staggering, really. I'm a bit sheepish, kind of with myself, really. I mean, we've known that this was the direction that things were heading. We've known it for a long time. But even I've been taken aback by it, because those of you who listen to the radio show will remember when we first heard about coronavirus, I incorrectly said. I've always been very quick to correct myself because I'm fucking wrong so often. Doesn't bother me being wrong. I said this will just be another SARS. It'll be another avian flu. They'll bullshit on about it. They'll bring a vaccine out. And we won't hear much about it after a few weeks. That's what I said. And of course I was wrong. I don't mean I was wrong in terms of the potency of it. I don't believe it is a potent, death-causing virus. On its own, it's not a virus that will kill anybody. Excuse me. On its own, it isn't a virus that would kill an otherwise healthy person. It's probably a nasty fucking virus. This is where now we're in the realms of conjecture. Not a man of science, not a man of medicine. But I've seen many doctors, I've spoken to doctors in the last few days, who've said, Richie, it is by all appearances. To all appearances, it looks like a pretty fucking nasty dose of the flu. And overnight, yeah, you might say over a few weeks, but no, overnight, effectively. In terms of human history, this last 4 weeks is like one grain of sand on a fucking beach. So it's literally overnight. They've managed to place themselves right on the brink of transforming human existence and giving themselves the power at the drop of a fucking hat to arrest people for being in a park or for being outside having a walk. Going for a walk with your dog. Going down to the local boozer. You can't do that now, they've closed the boozers. Mad. Just at the very end of the chat there, I see my mate Spiro, who's a brilliant journalist. How you doing, Spiro? The solution will be and already is worse than the problem. Yes, absolutely right. And I think that's what Hitchens was returning to in his article yesterday, because he wrote about this 10 days or 2 weeks previous. He wrote the same thing. I don't know what to say to you, really. What do you do? There won't be any resistance to it because people are genuinely terrified. And that's not their fault. But even if they weren't generally terrified, I think our capacity to come together and to mobilise as people physically to challenge what's been happening, I think that's diminished to the point where it's disappeared entirely. It's gone. Community, the idea, the notion of community has disappeared, has evaporated. People don't care about each other anymore. Selfish individualism reigns. Social media is hilarious. Get all these truthers saying, we got to do something, we got to stand up. And they remind me of the woman in the life of Brian, the real woman, who when the Judean People's Front have all these meetings talking about how fucking shit it all is, how draconian it is under the Romans, how dreadful it is, but they don't ever do anything. And she comes in when there's a chance to do something and screams at John Cleese, who plays Reg, we got to do something, we got to do something, we can't just sit around talking about it. They laugh at her. She leaves the room. I see everyone on social media. People are waking up. People are standing. No, nobody's waking up and nobody's standing up to fucking anything. I saw somebody on Twitter the other day, somebody with a decent sized following. This is brilliant. Q is happening. Q is happening. The deep state is going down. No, it ain't. Why? Because of retards like you. I don't mean you, dear viewer. I mean the poster of the Q is happening. Retard. Mentally retarded. Not disabled, retarded. A retardation of the mind. I'll hang around on social media and I will sloganeer to be Jesus. The deep state now, people are waking up to it. No, people are not waking up to it. No, they're not. We'll discuss this more on the radio show when I'm back next week. I will be with you a couple of more times this week on these live streams. I'm kind of working my way back up to it, and it'll be full live radio show next week, proper. I'll be back next week. Nobody is doing anything about this. Keyboard warriors. They are legion. Self-appointed journalists with YouTube channels. Some with YouTube channels, some with graphics and with production values that far exceed this pile of shit, it must be said. But they are reg from the Judean People's Front. Talk about these things all the time. They're never going to do anything about it. We have to stand up to it. And then you go and put Netflix on. And you watch something on Netflix. Or you crack open a beer. We can't take it anymore. How many likes have I got? We have to stand up to it. We're awake. Post. Now wait and see how many likes and how many retweets I got. There is no independent media. It's bullshit. All of it virtue signalling, people trying to make money out of doing fuck all. Sitting at home, proselytising, theorising about shit they know fuck all about. Bragging about how we're going to stand up to this and that, and they don't stand up to fuck all. It doesn't have to be 50,000 people or 500,000 people marching on London. It doesn't have to be that. It begins in your community. I've said this 1,000 times before. Learn who the person living next door to you is. Know him, know her. Value him, value her. Befriend him, befriend her. Open your fucking life to them and to everybody else around you. That's where it begins. Not with keyboard warrior meaningless fucking sloganeering about stuff like this. The deep state, whatever it is, laughs its fucking arse off. Look at those dickheads on social media. Seemingly having an understanding of what it is that we're doing. But they're so wrapped up in themselves and their fucking narcissism and their own self-importance and their social media accounts and their followers that they'll never do fuck all, really. That's where we are. They're going to pass this fucking thing today, this COVID emergency powers bill. They're going to tell people like me and every other dog owner in the country that we can't go to our local parks from tomorrow. I don't know what will happen then, because I'll be going to my local park tomorrow. Not a hero, not a tough guy. But I don't do what I'm told. What happens after that, I don't know. But this virus, if it's real, and I'm not sure it is real. I don't know that it's real. I believe people are getting sick. I'm not stupid. I believe they are. Not a lot of people. Not when you compare the figures that we heard earlier on. See Hitchens' article from the Mail on Sunday. Proportionally, it isn't a disaster. People are getting sick, respiratory problems. The cough, the fever, they're being looked after. The majority of people who are posting about it are saying that they were okay after a few days. I believe Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson have been tweeting saying that we were a bit sick for a couple of weeks, but we're okay now. That's how it is with viruses. Most people get a bit sick. It can be fucking awful. I know from experience. 4 or 5 days can be really bad. Your mates laugh at you. Man flu, you big baldy gammon. Fucking man flu. And you're like, you know it isn't. It's fucking shit. I've had it. What I've had to deal with recently is far fucking worse than that. But, few days and you get over it. They've used this, whatever this is, to bring about a change in human existence, a change in how we are to live our lives, to the point where you cannot rule out that what we're seeing was predetermined. Whether last year or the year before, 6 months ago, that this is deliberate. Always look at the response to any crisis to give you some indication of what happened to begin with. Gives you a fucking clue, doesn't it? A really good one. A really good clue when you see the measures taken by the so-called authorities in the wake of the new crisis. They want to give powers to the police and to the army that were unimaginable. For a virus that might be fatal, might be, to 0.05% of those who get it. Not 0.05% of the total population. Get that into your head. 0.05% of those who are unfortunate enough to get the fucking virus. If there is a new strain of virus going about, and I'm not ruling it out, I don't do the truther thing of making definitive statements that I can't back up, so I don't know. Maybe COVID-19 is real. Maybe it was developed in a laboratory and let loose on China. I don't know. But of those who get it, 0.05% of those who get it could expect it to be fatal. For the rest of us, if it's real, you might get it. There's a good chance you'll get it and you won't even fucking know that you have it. And yet lockdown. Police state. Putting millions and millions and millions of people, I can't overemphasize it, in financial peril that they won't escape from. Destroying your pensions. And then saying, we've asked the banks to give us some money that we'll give to you until a future date to help you keep your business on track when this is all over. And then you can get back to work. Of course, next year and the year after, trying to recover from this year's losses, the businesses are fucked anyway. Now you've got to pay back the government. Nobody's asking the question, why don't the banks loan this money without any interest payments attached to it? Why should the banks benefit? Why should the coronavirus fuck everybody's lives right up except the banks? And I'm not even going to start with the banks printing money, quantitative easing. I'm not even going to start talking about fiat currency. I'm not even going to talk about fractional reserve banking. Banks don't have any money. Money doesn't exist. It is a figment of your imagination. Money is transferred from one place to another using a keyboard and a series of digits that are fucking meaningless. Not backed up by anything. Banks invented out of thin air. They don't take any risk. But when it can't be paid back, well, we'll have your house. We'll have your car. watch the "we'll have your car" bit. That'll be a big thing the next couple of years. They'll marry all this to climate change. Look, I've said enough. It's 1:20 UK time. And I'm a bit tired now after all of that. I'm a bit tired. Like I said, I'm slowly getting back there. I'm getting back on my feet. I might drop in again on Wednesday morning. But what else am I going to fucking say, you know? And maybe Friday. But the radio show, and I've got a couple of things to say about the radio show. I've been overhauling the show from a production point of view. It's going to sound a bit different when it comes back. I've been working on it. So we'll have a new website really soon as well. I've been ill. I know Hayden Hewitt has worked on it. I don't know how far Hayden has come with that. I know he's been trying to reach me. And some other friends of mine have been trying to reach me. I've not been very good at returning phone calls. The reason being that I just don't have the fucking energy to talk to people. It kills, at the moment, 15, 20 minutes of conversation and I'm gone. And my voice goes. So, yeah, there you go. So look, that's my fucking take on it. What do I know, eh? Seriously, what the fuck do I know? But I have been interviewing men and women for many years who have been uncannily accurate in talking about the crises of the future, including pandemics. It's come up on the show many times. Will be used as the justification for transferring more and more authority over us to the state. And we're witnessing it unfold in front of our eyes today. Now, thanks for watching this fucking garbage. I really appreciate it. And sorry for not being on with you today. I did say, I got Raj to put a message on Facebook the other day that I'd be back on the radio this week. I'll be back on Monday. And I will be back on Monday. And I can't fucking wait because I'm going stir crazy. I really am. But in the meantime, you've got this crap. And I'll drop in on Wednesday. Might look at one or two other issues on Wednesday. Maybe we'll have a question and answer session on Wednesday. I don't know what the fuck I can answer. I don't know what I know, but we might do that. And yeah. Have a good Monday. Have a good week. And don't get too bogged down by it. What's going on? Because we have each other. We can talk to each other about it, can't we? I'll speak to you on Wednesday. How about that? We'll make it a date for Wednesday. Same time. Midday Wednesday. This channel. Until then, look after yourselves and one another.